Well, good afternoon to everybody. Welcome to Wisteria class. If you are unable to make the teaching team meeting today on Tuesday, the 30th September, this is the information that I shared with the parents and carers in attendance. So I wanted to formally welcome you to Wisteria class, Year 4, Highfields. Teaching team this year is made up of the following individuals: myself, Miss Barrett, and I work on a Monday, Tuesday, and a Wednesday. I'm sometimes in school on a Thursday, very often tutoring. I believe that hasn't been set up at the moment. But I am Wisteria class's main teacher. Mr. Parry takes over on a Thursday and a Friday. He and I have worked together for many, many years, and so we're a really strong team. I do much of the planning in terms of the English and the maths and the reading and the theme to ensure that there is continuity throughout the week. So when I'm not there, there is still continuous resources for the children. Mrs. Wise is the art teacher, and she works in many classes, and with us she works on a Wednesday afternoon. She also supports maths learning, small group learning, one-to-one learning, whatever the need may be according to what arises in the lesson, every day after break. Mrs. Clark, she is our English support teacher and works with the children, small groups, singularly, whatever the need may be, for English every day except for Monday. So here are the Wisteria Year 4 teaching team, taking your children hopefully very smoothly through the year. Our space in school. So fortunately, we've been able to invite you back into school, COVID aside, and our spaces are now very welcome spaces. We have cloakroom areas, which are now beautifully decorated with children's display work. We have a huge learning area outside the classroom. Our classroom is set up into rows so that the children are facing the smart board and where the main learning and teaching is happening at the front of the class, but also so that they can see the displays around the class. In terms of displays, English, writing and maths, you can see examples of what we call working walls. Working walls support learning in class. And they change regularly. So it's very much dependent on what the learning objective is for that lesson. And so working walls are an ongoing thing, help enabling children with their learning for whatever the objective is for that lesson. So they change all the time. Writing, in terms of the middle picture there, very pleased to say that at the end of a 3-week block, the children have a presentation piece of Write, an independent Write, which is displayed in the writing wallets. And as the year goes by, after the 3-week writing blocks have complete, children have quite a huge pack of writing that they can be proud of on display. In terms of the week, a typical week looks like this. Shan't go through in too much detail, but basically mornings during register is made up of learning spellings or music appreciation. After that is English, then break, then maths follows break time, takes us up to lunch. And after lunch in the afternoons, every half an hour after register is either big read, where we focus on a particular genre, or sentence building, where we focus on grammar. And then after that, theme lessons. First part of the week, there are 3, so double theme, and then a little bit of Spanish, basically focusing on oral work. On Wednesday, art and PE is led by Mrs. Wise, science on Thursday, and a little bit on Friday, together with strings, which is learning an instrument. Mr. Parry tells me that that will start for year 4, not this Friday, but next Friday. So I guess that'll be the 19th, 20, 21, 22, the 23rd of September. So a typical week looks like that. We're pleased to say that assemblies have started so that we can gather in person on a Monday and a Friday. Really important so that we can get to know each other again in other classes. So that's a typical week. In terms of a typical day, looks like this. There's a little timetable that goes up after spellings and after register, so the children know exactly what the day entails. This is, for example, today, where we were working on a book called Fair's Fair, and then there's maths, This afternoon was made up of big read. We did a little bit of English. We revisited English, so the timetable slightly changed. And we had school council. So school council voting took place this afternoon. But a typical day would look something like this, together with a little fact of the day, just to broaden the children's knowledge. Okay. In terms of our curriculum, the Year 4 curriculum, this is the English curriculum at the moment. We're focusing on a book called Fair's Fair by Leon Garfield. It's a rags to riches tale set in Victorian times. I'm not going to say any more, don't want to give away the ending too soon. But this forms the basis for our immersion, so our kind of focus work for the first 2 weeks of term, and then our English blocks taking us up to half term. We will start a brand new block on narrative story writing next week, and a lot of that will be based on the story of Fair's Fair. Big Read is made up of poetry, and here are 2 sample slides from our current poem that we are studying called Swifts, and it's all about reading for pleasure, reading for fluency, reading to be expressive, and reading to perform. So at the end of a Big Read block, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. On a Friday, Mr. Parry will take Wisteria class to present and perform whatever genre they've been studying. So this Friday, it'll be quite exciting to see how they perform the poem Swifts, that they've been learning this week. Now, in terms of maths, the Year 4 curriculum, I appreciate that timetable there showing you the overview of the year is very, very small. So I'll post that on Dojo so you can see the units that we will be studying in Power Maths over the year. Right now, we are working on place value, which actually every year group throughout the school will be working on. We are on Year 4, Book 4A in Power Maths, and this is based on Active Learn Primary. And if you're interested in finding out more about our Power Maths scheme, Active Learn Primary is a website you can go and take a little look at. Also, to support multiplication testing, and that will happen in June next year, Times Table Rockstars, of course, will continue. Numbots, I believe, is for Key Stage 1, so not quite appropriate for Wisteria class. But Times Table Rockstars challenges will be set, and the children rather will have their login sent out as soon as we've talked about Times Table Rockstars in class. So look out for that as well on Dojo. The other part of the Year 4 curriculum that's really important is to do with ACT and the Victorians on the breadline. All of the Highfields campus, years 4, 5 and 6, are studying Victorians for this half term, and I think taking us up to our ACT in November, December, at the end of the autumn term. I've already sent home the knowledge organisers, so please take time to take a look over the information, the knowledge, vocabulary that we will be learning in school. We've already made a start with our theme lesson, and it's an overview to who the Victorians are and why they were so important. Theme lessons will continue every week. So keep an eye on Dojo for updates there. Other information you might be interested in. Expectations wise, yes, we expect a decent learning behaviour to make progress, and to enable that we are continuing with Dunkirk Pride, and we focus on a problem solver, somebody who's responsible, independent, determined, shows empathy every week, and this is rewarded with a sticker, and of course at the end of term there's the potential for a Pride hoodie. Now that means a new ambassador. Right now, we have an ambassador for Wisteria class elected at the end of last term in Year 3. So the next time, that will be in December. So it could be your child. Spellings will be sent home on Class Dojo on a Wednesday. We are using the Year 3-4 spelling lists. Look out for those to practice with your child. Reading, Mrs. Clark and I are in the process of sorting out reading books, and we have to do a little kind of reading test with the children so that we can get them onto an appropriate level. PE will be, I think, on the timetable, like I mentioned, on a Wednesday and a Friday. Do let your children come to school in their kits, PE kits, suitable trainers, leggings or tracksuit bottoms, a top, a hoodie. Okay, because PE will more or less be taken outside throughout the year. Now, as always, attendance counts, and so far so good. Attendance has been great in Wisteria class, so let's carry on that way, because any time lost through not being at school could develop into quite a big gap in your understanding. And I guess you're always playing catch up. So you move on very quickly in year 4 to new subjects every day. So please, attendance, encourage your children to come to school and be there on time. Finally, a word about Class Dojo. Dojo is still our platform for communication between school and between yourselves. Non-urgent messages can come through Class Dojo. I promise I will try my best to check regularly, same with Mr. Parry, but anything that's urgent, you must go straight to the office, give them a telephone call. Class Dojo will be used to post information from school. I will be posting homework, English, maths, spellings, many other messages perhaps on a Wednesday. And Mrs. Hollis, Mr. Parry will be posting about up and coming events. For example, tonight, this parents' meeting would have been posted on Dojo. And of course, any updates regarding learning, anything happening at school, take a look at Class Dojo. And it just sort of goes for me to say, if you have any further questions about any information I've shared with you, please don't hesitate to drop me a message on Class Dojo. Give the school a ring if you're having problems getting onto Class Dojo, and we will enable a connection as quickly as possible. So that's it. That's Wisteria. So you know who I am now, and it's been a pleasure to get to meet you at the school gate. Let's get going. Let's have a great year of learning. You know where I am if you need anything. Okay, I'll sign off now. Take care and wish you a good evening. See you soon. Bye-bye.